Okay, now we're ready to get on the exercise program. My guest, Carlos Silva from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Abby Caprol, a 1998 pro female champion. Paula Silva, that's Carlos' sister. She's also an NABF certified personal trainer, and she's getting ready to compete this season, and she'll also be at the gym with Carlos. And my girlfriend, Teresa Lake. I met Teresa 5 years ago or so. We started training together, and she's a very dedicated woman, and you'll notice she has a son. How old is your son?
34.
She has a son, 34, and she has a set of twins that are about 28. So at any age, you can look great and be able to exercise. So hope you enjoy this part of the segment. This is going to be how you could train at home without a very limited amount of pieces of equipment. Basically everything we're going to do today will be just with a few dumbbells and a few barbells. So if you just wanted to make a small investment and went to your local store that carries equipment, you get a few sets of dumbbells and a couple of barbells, and there's nothing you couldn't do. You can train your whole body at home with a very limited amount of money. So let's start with Carlos and Abby. Carlos and Teresa. We're going to do a squat. Now, a lot of these exercises, you got to take under consideration your medical problems. Now, if you have a low back problem or if you have a knee problem, there's a lot of exercises you can't do. So this is something you've got to be very cautious and make sure you're capable of doing these exercises. Carlos is going to demonstrate a barbell squat, and Teresa is going to do a dumbbell squat. So again, you could get away with just buying a few dumbbells and or barbells. Now the squat is an overall leg exercise. It's a power movement for your thigh, your hamstring, and your butt. So on the squat, you want to have your feet different. Again, the variety of foot position will hit the muscles a little bit differently, but for the most part, shoulder width, you're going to arch your lower spine, stick the butt out, keep a nice straight arched back. You don't want to round over. That's how you hurt your lower back. And the deeper you go, the more butt you'll work. So you want to go nice deep squat, always controlling the weight, sitting down very softly, and controlling it and powering it up. You definitely don't want to bounce on this exercise. It would be bad for your lower back and your knees. So you're always controlling the weight, and it's an overall leg movement. Okay, so this would be a basic barbell or dumbbell squat. Good. All right, the next exercise we're going to do, we'll use Carlos and Abby. Abby's going to do a barbell lunge on a step. You want to do a barbell? Yeah, why don't you do a barbell? And Carlos, you're going to do a dumbbell leg curl. Now this is, again, both of these exercises, the lunge on a step. Again, if you have a knee problem or lower back, you may have to be very cautious on doing this. You may not be able to do this. Abby, why don't you stand on this side, facing, so you can get a better angle. Now on the lunge, you want to have remember the back foot, wherever the toe is pointing is the direction the knee has to go in. You want to have a nice wide deep stance so the front leg, the knee doesn't extend beyond the front tip of the toe. And all you're doing is bending the back leg. You can do this on the flat or elevated on a step in your house. You can do it with a barbell or a dumbbell. You want to keep a nice straight arched lower back. You don't want to lean forward on any of these exercises. It puts too much strain on your lower back. You can do it that way, so many repetitions on one leg and then alternate, or you can step on and off, alternating that way. I prefer burning out one leg than the other leg, but also there's no right or wrong way as long as you're safe. You can step, alternate leg to leg, rep to rep. There's a lot of different variations on a lunge, so it can be done with a barbell or a dumbbell. All right, Abby, thanks. If you're not in the gym and if you don't have a leg curl machine and you want to work your hamstring a little bit more, you can lay flat on the floor, or if you have a bench. A lot of these exercises we do today, you wouldn't have to have benches, but if you had them, it'd be a little bit better. And if you had a spotter, you could grab a dumbbell. If you don't have a hamstring machine, you bring your feet up, have the spotter, put the dumbbell in between your ankles. Now you got to apply pressure always. You got to really squeeze in on your feet so you don't lose the dumbbell. You'd extend all the way down, and at this point you would pull up and squeeze your hamstring. Good. And all the way down and squeeze up, really squeeze your hamstring. This is an overall leg bicep curl hamstring exercise. Okay, Carlos, good job. if you don't have, again, there's so many different variations of leg exercises. If you don't have a leg extension machine, between doing your squats, your lunges, you should hit your quadriceps pretty good. If you are in a gym, and you would want to throw in many other exercises, but between your squat, your lunge, dumbbell, bicep, hamstring curl, then Paul is going to demonstrate a calf exercise. If you, you can do it on any step in your house. I mean, for balance, you might want to hold on to the side of the door jamb, and you'd be just basically up and down off your toe, good range down, all the way up, squeeze. Now, if you want a variety of hitting different parts of the calf, sometimes have your feet straight. Other times you might want to have your heels out, and other times squeeze your heels slightly in. It's going to hit both heads of the calf. And calf, ab, and forearm, it's a very dense muscle. It usually requires a higher repetition, and it's an awful burning sensation while you're doing the exercise, but it's not usually that sore after, like some of the other exercises. Your muscle soreness lasts for days if you train at a high intensity. But vary your heel position, and that will hit the calves in different angles. Thanks, Paula. So those are the basic exercises you would be doing for legs at home if you weren't in a gym. It doesn't hurt to go to a bookstore and pick up another book, a book on different exercises, and there's different variations. Also, if you wanted to do a dumbbell, straight-legged or bent knee deadlift for lower hamstring and butt, that's another exercise you can incorporate if you really want to work on your hamstrings a little bit more and your lower back. Who wants to do Carlos? Again, I've had 2 herniated discs for 20 years, so when I do these, I have to use a slight bend to my knee. But the posture you should use when you're standing up doing any exercise, professionals would stand with the feet together, knees slightly bent, butt out, arch your lower spine, pulling your stomach. And that way there takes the stress off your lower back. And any exercise you do, whether it be side lateral, curls, whatever it may be, as soon as you round your spine over is when you're going to have more likely to have a disc problem. So you want that tucked to your lower back, and Carlos is going to demonstrate a dumbbell or barbell, straight-legged or bent knee. This is a great exercise for hamstring and butt, and if you come all the way up like Carlos is, you're also incorporating lower back. Now, if you want to emphasize just hamstring and glutes, then he's only going to come up halfway and pulling from the butt and hamstring and going right back down, keeping tension on the glutes at all times. If you don't have a back problem, straight-legged is fine in this exercise, but I have to always bend my knee. If you round over, no matter what exercise is bent over, when you round your spine over, that's when you're more prone to have back problems. So always keep a lower back arch, and it's going to give you much more support on your lower spine. So that's another leg exercise you could throw in. All right, now we're going to go into a little bit of chest. If you want to work, again, we do the flat press, whether it be a barbell or a dumbbell, is an overall power movement for chest. If you want to work on more incline work, then that's working more upper chest. And then you have all your different flies, that's more for shaping the chest. So we're going to demonstrate a, Carlos, you want to do a flat press? Abby, you want to do an incline press? So again, either one of these exercises could be done with a barbell or a dumbbell. Abby, why don't you do a dumbbell incline, and Carlos, why don't you do a flat press? Okay, again, the weight would vary depending on, obviously Carlos can do a lot more weight than this, but we're just demonstrating the form. And when you're doing a chest exercise, you've got to get a full range of motion. On the flat bar, again, you could be doing it on the flat with a dumbbell or a barbell. Same thing on the incline. It can vary from a barbell or a dumbbell. It has to be a full range of motion. It has to touch the chest. The first few inches, your chest is doing most of the work. After that, your triceps kick in and they're doing a lot of the work. So if you don't do a full range of motion, you see people all day doing heavy weight and only half reps. They're not really working chest. You want to come all the way down, touch the chest, and up and squeeze the pecs. So these two are overall power movements, and the flat is overall chest. The incline is upper chest. Upper chest is a little bit more difficult to develop, so most people will emphasize nowadays they do a little bit more incline work than flat work. So basic press, control the weight, slow on the negative, faster on the positive, inhale on the negative, exhale on the positive. When the weight's being lifted, exhale. When the weight is falling, you inhale. Okay, good job. Now we'll go into Teresa and Paula. We're going to do flies. We're going to do a flat fly and an incline fly. We'll go a little bit lighter on the flies. Shaping exercise, you usually have to use a little bit lighter weight. So, Teresa, why don't you do the 12s on the incline? And unless you have very strong shoulders, most of the time you can flat press more than you can incline press. So I'm going to give Paula 15s on the flat press, on the flat bench. Is that all right for you, for a fly? And Teresa's going to do the incline. So this is not a press. This is a fly motion. This is shaping the chest. Just a slight bend to the elbow. Come up, squeeze your pecs. So you're going to control the weight. Good stretch depending on your range of motion. And if you have a shoulder injury, a lot of these exercises you may not be able to do. And every injury is different, so I can't tell you. You have to be very safe. Try the movement with no weight. See if you're feeling any discomfort in your shoulder. And if you're not, then go into light weight and just see. Some shoulder injuries you can do flat press. You can't do incline press. Some injuries you can do decline presses. I mean, every injury is different. So be safe. Go very light. Test it out first. And use your own judgment. A lot of this is common sense. And this is an overall shaper for chest. So your flat fly or incline fly. It's still working chest. Thanks. All right, so again, we did legs first. It was the largest muscle group. Then you could go either chest or back, because those are the two next largest muscle groups. We just did some chest exercises. Now we're going to go into some back exercises. Carlos, why don't you do a bent barbell row over here, and I'll put Abby over here doing a dumbbell one-arm row. Why don't you do it facing that way? Okay, and Carlos, yeah, probably at that angle. Why don't you leg over that side and the dumbbell on that side? Now again, these exercises, again, if you have low back pain, you obviously probably couldn't do these. So now Abby's doing a dumbbell one-arm row. Her form is good. She's got a nice straight back. If she was rounded up, that's very poor. You want to keep her straight to an arch lower spine. Good range of motion all the way down. Pull the dumbbell right on the side of your chest. This is working each back separately. You do one side with one arm with the dumbbell, then you turn around and alternate and do the other side. Now Carlos is doing a barbell bent row, which is, again, if you use correct form where he's got his knees slightly bent, he's got a nice arch to a straight back, and he's extending all the way down. He's pulling right into his abdominal, and this is also working back with Abby's emphasizing one individual back separately, and Carlos is doing both together, and again, there's all different variations. Back exercises, you're more limited on what you can do with free weights if you don't have any machines. If you're strong and you have a spotter, you might want to consider doing pull-ups. Just rig up something in your house where you can do some wide grip pull-ups, close grip pull-ups, reverse pull-ups. You can do a dumbbell row, barbell bent row. What else can we do for back?
Some pullovers.
Yep, now we'll do a pullover.
Bench.
Abby, why don't you lay right down. Now when you do it, you actually can do it with a dumbbell or a barbell. This will help work your lat, from the lat to the roundness into the chest. Now it's a good stretch back. There's two different ways to do it now. You're coming up and you're squeezing your pecs. You're not doing a tricep extension. You can either have, if you want to have a good range of motion and you bent elbow, that's fine. But when you're coming up, you're straining out your arm. At this point, go down and go down real slow. Way back here, now she's starting to feel the pulling in the lat. It's giving a nice V shape under the arm. Now she's coming up above her chest. Now she's squeezing her pecs. One book will say this is for back, another book will say this is for chest. It's the roundness from the lat into the chest. It's a very good exercise. You can do the same thing with a barbell. It's much more stress on your shoulder. You have to be very strong and have very good shoulders to be able